Hi everybody, it's David Porter, and today I want to discuss family roles and family rules. This is a model of understanding family dynamics that was first applied to the alcoholic family. It's since been expanded to pretty much all types of dysfunctional families. And it is a theory that people will instinctively, organically assume different roles within a dysfunctional family, and there will be unspoken, unwritten, but rigidly adhered to rules within a dysfunctional family. Excuse me. The family rules are the enabler, number 1, number 2, the hero, number 3, the scapegoat, number 4, the clown or mascot, also known as a mascot, and number 5, the lost child. The enabler is typically going to be either the oldest sibling or the partner of whoever is drinking or drugging or being abusive or neglectful or all the above. They will enable, and for purposes of simplicity, let's stick with the addict. They will enable the addict to continue using. They will enable the addict's sick, dysfunctional, abusive, neglectful behavior. There's maybe domestic violence and child maltreatment occurring, and the enabler is not going to intervene. They will not take appropriate action or fulfill their duty as a parent or eldest sibling to intervene in any way. And the thing with enabling, here's a really important thing to remember about enabling. Enabling is going to feel like you are helping, but you are really hurting. While holding someone accountable and responsible can feel like hurting, but you are actually helping. There's a definition of compassion, a better definition of compassion than just excusing someone's worst behavior and letting them get away with things year after year where they're hurting themselves and the family. That is not a good definition of compassion. That is being far too accommodating and allowing yourself to be misled to live in some distorted version of reality where you pretend everything is okay when it's pretty far from being okay. More about that when we talk about the family rules. So that's the enabler. They enable the addict's sick behavior, and it feels like they're helping, but they're actually hurting very much. Then you have the hero, also known as the high achiever of the family. Probably the eldest sibling or the eldest child, and they are going to be the captain of the soccer team or football team or whatever. They're going to be A students on the honor roll. They are going to be playing an instrument. They are always immaculately, meticulously groomed and very socially adept. They have a lot of friends. They are going to be working very, very hard to, number 1, make the family look normal. Number 2, what they're trying to get is their parents' love and approval, or at least attention. Look at me and how perfect I am. Will you notice me now? And this, of course, will result in exhaustion, complete exhaustion. And these rules will persist into adulthood. These rules will persist into adulthood. You are going to have distracting. There are other people around here walking dogs and running and everything else. How inconsiderate. Don't they know I'm in my studio trying to make a video? That's not an entitled point of view or anything, is it? Not at all. Where was I? Friggin' ADD. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. These family roles are going to solidify into long-term personality traits. The high achiever of the family who exhausts themselves trying to please their parents, they're going to be the same ones as adults who are in the office at 6 a.m., don't leave till 10 p.m., and have to, do everything perfectly. They are very loved by corporations because they really give their all, and they also end up dropping dead of a myocardial infarction by age 40 because they're so completely exhausted and burned out. You have the scapegoat. The scapegoat is going to be the child that is probably singled out for abuse, not just by the parents, one or both parents, but also by their siblings and by their peers. The scapegoat is going to be the perpetual fuck up. At least that's how they're going to feel. They will never be able to do anything right according to the parent's point of view, the sibling's point of view, and soon that perception will be internalized. They are going to shoplift, they're going to commit vandalism, they are going to get in fights, they're going to smoke weed, they're going to drink, they are going to be truant, they're not going to be good students, they're not going to work, they're going to be chronic problems and troublemakers in the family. And what they're doing is they're acting out. Just as the hero, the high achiever, pursues excellence and success in order for the parents to notice them, the scapegoat pursues chaos and disruption in order to be noticed. You have the clown or the mascot. The clown or the mascot is going to make excessive use of humor in an effort to diminish tension within the family or break tension within the family. They're always going to be making jokes and acting silly, and they're going to have a hard time taking anything seriously, because having a sense of humor is not just everything is funny, it's knowing the difference between, it's a sense of humor. In other words, you're going to be able to know the difference between something that's funny and what isn't. I remember in high school, there was a kid, we all hung around with, it was one of our groups sitting at a lunch table, and his father died. We were all about 16 or 17, and he said, well, that's one less mouth to feed. And we all just stared at him. Do you know how hard it is to offend a bunch of 16-year-old boys? He managed, because everything was funny for him. Everything was a joke. Nothing is taken seriously. One more time, these roles are going to persist into adulthood as character traits, as personality features. And the clown is, everyone's going to like them because they're funny, but after a while, they're going to get very fucking annoying, and they're not going to be taken seriously. They're going to be disrespected because they can never be serious. Everything is a joke. Well, no, everything's not a joke, actually. There are things that need to be taken seriously, and not every occasion is an occasion for humor. You have where are we? We covered the enabler, the hero, the scapegoat, and the clown. And that brings us to the one I almost forgot. Number 5 is the lost child. These are the children who will come home with a knot in their stomach, not knowing what they're going to see and hear when they walk through the front door. And they're going to have their earbuds in already, probably. And they're going to go to their bedroom or their basement bedroom and isolate themselves and probably retreat into a fantasy world of video games where they can be a hero. They are or watching pornography, or both, or drugs, or all the above. They're going to retreat from the world. They are going to be very quiet. Not necessarily shy or timid, but they're going to be very quiet. They're going to gray out. They're not going to draw attention to themselves. And they have the uncanny ability to disappear in plain sight. Even their peers they'll go through all high school with no one knowing their name. Their teachers will neglect them and not remember their name, and not call on them in class. They will, and even in family therapy, they tend to be forgotten and neglected. They have an amazing ability to disappear in plain sight, to put on their camouflage of quiet and subtlety. It's really actually hard to describe. But the bottom line is they do not want to draw attention to themselves. And again, this persists into adulthood, where people are not going to notice them. And what they're trying to do is feel safe. That's the main thing. All of these family roles are dysfunctional efforts at coping. Now, very briefly, family rules: silence, denial, rigidity, and isolation. Silence, we do not talk about what's happening in this family to any outsiders. Denial, there's nothing to talk about anything. Anyways, we're fine. Everything is just okay. Rigidity, this is a trauma-rooted behavior. You tighten up, you do specific things at specific times, very consistently, in a vain effort to control your chaotic reality. And again, this will persist into your adulthood. Rigidity is a trauma-rooted behavior where you have to have everything your way all the time, and any deviation is going to be very upsetting and distressing. I would speculate, and there is something a little like this, something along these lines in the professional literature, that this trauma-induced rigidity is very often mistaken for autism, being on the autism spectrum, and Asperger's, which, FYI, is just absurdly, ridiculously, massively overdiagnosed. I am so tired of hearing, well, you must be on the spectrum, or he's on the spectrum, or he could be on the spectrum. No, he probably isn't, and stop trying to diagnose people until you have a graduate degree and a license and experience, because you can't diagnose people if unless you've been trained to, and even then you're going to get it wrong plenty of times. Okay, so you also have isolation. The abuser is going to greatly encourage this, and the enabler is going to encourage it as well. The family is going to be isolated. The kids and the family, you don't bring your friends over. You don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You have to isolate yourself, or you think you do, in order to hide the craziness that's going on in your family. So those are the 4 rules and the 5 roles, and I will put them up in the video description for reference. Thank you for watching. Please be safe, and please hit subscribe.